Mike Chambers of the Denver Post joining us tonight. Mike, the Avs have gotten a lot, I think more than people anticipated, from Darcy Kemper and Pavel Francouz this season. A lot of people were worried about Philip Grubauer going out the door and going to Seattle. So far, that hasn't been an issue. What's impressed you the most about the two goalkeepers this year?
Well, one, I think they're great people and they work great together. They're a great tandem. And I think since Francouz came back in January, obviously he missed the first part of the year with a lower body injury, but ever since he came back and then he had COVID and he returned from COVID, it's just been a dynamite tandem.
Yeah.
This is a team that leads the NHL in goals against average at 2.24 goals a game since January 1. So it's a great combination. I know a lot of people question the Avs, the Avs tandem in net, but I know the team doesn't. And they really like both of these guys, and partly because they work so well together. And they're good guys. Yeah,
they've certainly rewarded that confidence, no doubt about it. One guy who has rewarded Joe Sakic's confidence in him has been Nazem Kadri and what he's been able to do. A career year, 66 points in 50 games. Compare that to last year, he had just 32 points in 56 games. So, Mike, why has he been so much better?
I think Jared Bednar came up with the best thing, and he just said that Kadri is putting hard work ahead of skill. He's always had the skill. This is his 12th NHL season, but I think he's figured out that the harder he works, the better his game is. And I think that he's finally dialed that in to where he goes out there and he's just focused on working hard and not trying to be that fancy top six forward. And I think it's really paid off. He's figured it out that he's got to put hard work first above his skill. And I think if you blend those two things, he's an awful good forward.
Mike, this team has Stanley Cup expectations, no doubt about it. Let's play pessimist, though, for a minute. And if there's something that is going to keep this team from winning the Cup, what might it be?
Maybe depth, forward, toughness, grit. I think that they're going to address that at the trade deadline. But I think that this team has everything. I believe in the goalies. I know the team does, too. Obviously, the top six and the core group and the top pairing D are elite as they come in the league. So I think it's really hard to find a weakness on this team. Yeah. But if there's one thing I would probably say that just maybe they're missing a Maroon type, a guy that is a veteran playoff forward who can really mix it up and play in those nasty moments in the playoffs.
Trade deadline's coming up. You mentioned it, March 21st. You expect them to do something?
Absolutely. There's no doubt. Joe Sakic addressed the media a couple weeks ago. There's just no doubt. I mean, this is the best team in the NHL, and it's Stanley Cup or bust. And knowing Joe and knowing how he grew up under Pierre Lacroix, there's no doubt that Joe's going to try to do everything he can to make this team better. The problem is they don't have any cap money. They're right up against the cap. So the big question is, do they trade an existing player to free up cap space to improve the team? It's a delicate situation, but I think if Joe really does identify the key piece or pieces that he wants, I think unfortunately there's a big part of the team right now is probably going to get traded.
All right, 3 weeks from tomorrow is that deadline. We will see what happens, and then, Mike, we will start making our plans for a Stanley Cup victory parade in downtown Denver. Mike Chambers of the Denver Post joining us tonight. Mike, thanks so much for the time.
My pleasure, Michael.